Are they eligible for the internships or the placements?
Should apply, nominate themselves, give a speech.
How can they apply for internship or placement support? What about the direct diploma students? What are
Hmm.
these placement points and how are they beneficial to the students?
There's a misconception among the student that why do we put so much filter? Also, the discounts are offered to the student.
So, what is the scenario of the placements and the internships?
I have a hands-on DSA, a good knowledge over Python. I have done a lot of projects like Kaggle projects and other open source projects. I have contributed to some open source repositories.
What was the highest or the lowest or the average package that was provided to our students?
Especially the bank companies or the big companies are coming or not. So the range was somewhere between 6.57 to 12 somewhere.
How many students that actually applied for the internship or placement support, and how many actually got placed or got the internships? So there must be some feedback the recruiters would have given you. And can you share that feedback with us? What is in more demand? How should a good resume look like?
More number of projects, more if or the working experience you can get. Try to participate in the competitions and events. Showcase your soft skill and hold some POR responsibility.
Hello, Namaste. My name is Anjali Panchal and I am a student of IIT MBS just like you. If you are seeing my face for the very first time, consider subscribing because I make videos that make your BS degree easy and enjoyable. From today onwards, we are starting a new podcast series on our channel that we will call Educasts. Through these podcasts, I'll try to inculcate some values to your life and to your BS degree. We will try to invite the guests from our degree as well as from outside if possible, and we'll ask them your doubts. So, a lot of you guys were asking me about the placement of IIT MBS degree. I thought, why not ask these questions to someone who is closely related to the student data and knows everything about it? So, in the first ever episode of Educast, I'll be asking your questions about placement to Mr. Utkarsh Gaurav. Utkarsh was one of the members of SPC during the last tenure, and now he is the mentor of SPC. So, let's start the video.
Hello, Utkarsh. I would like to welcome you to the first episode of our Educast series. So, can you please introduce yourself to our audiences?
Okay, first of all, thank you, Anjali, for having me here in your very first podcast episode. It is very, good to be a part of this podcast. Talking about myself, first, my name is Utkarsh Gaurav. I have been a part of our BS program since the very first batch of the degree. So, starting from the 21st January batch. So from that onwards, I've been participating in a number of responsibility factors, a lot of groups and events. So starting with I started with the group leader for the Sundarbans, and then also was POR as a deputy secretary for Sundarban later on in the year. So further, we used to have this Paradox Fest. So I was also the part of the sponsorship team, working as a coordinator for this Paradox. Further, as we moved along down the line, we there was a placement council was established by the POD. So in this, they conducted election, and I happened to be selected as a member for a student placement council, and has been representing them for the past year. Currently, I am working as a advisor for the Student Placement Council and helping our new SPC Council to um, work along with the IAC. Beside that, if you ask that, I have been a TA for BDM, that is Business Data Management in our course in diploma level, and it was very good experience for me to be a TA in that particular course. Beside that, currently I'm working as a research associate under economics department with a prof at the campus. So this is all about me.
You have a lot to talk about yourself, to be very honest. But for today, we'll be focusing more on the SPC part. So, can you tell us what is SPC and how does it work?
So talking about the SPC, as we know that the its full form starts with the Student Placement Council. So the very first council was founded or the led in last year 2023 February. That was the first time that the nominations were called out. So objective of the SPC is to help students in their placement and internship opportunity, helping them in uh, promoting and gathering the necessary skills which are required on the industry level. So it includes, monitoring them, helping in operations like guiding them throughout the interview processes, what are the necessary skills, organizing events, resume building session. This part comes under soft skills. So basically, when we talk about a resume, so there are two type of skills, namely soft skill and another is hard skill. So there are certain things that each company or industry firms look towards from the students when they are applying for certain firm. So as an SPC, we have a responsibility to help our student pool in our degree to gain the necessary hard skill which are asked by the industry, also along with the soft skills. When you talk about hard skill, it includes various languages, computer languages, including Python. What are the DSA, necessary DSA, where they can get it. Beside that, what projects they should do, and where are the good material they can find. Also, interacting with the industrial leaders that what they need to work on or what project that industry is looking forward. Beside, if you talk about soft skill, it includes how to present yourself, how to be prepared for the interview, and beside that, what is the perfect resume that one should follow, and how prepare themselves for interview when they are scheduled for interview. So there are a lot of things that SPC do for the students and to make them industry ready.
Okay, so these skills and everything we'll talk about in the podcast later, Utkarsh. So, coming back to the internship part, so when we register for internship or placement support, we receive emails from IIC as well. So, can you please tell us more about IIC and how is SPC different from IIC?
So since our program is new, so we have a dedicated placement cell known as Industry Interaction Cell. So this team is a group of professionals from the TPO, that is Training Placement Officer. They are a group of all the experienced people who regularly work in, gathering the information, making industry connections, organizing industry sessions so that they come to our program and then they give opportunity to our students to they act as a particularly if you say they act as a bridge between the students and the industry and help the students to get on board on the industries depending on the kind of job opportunities are available. So they regularly work for organizing events, conducting mock placement drive and making the student ready for the placement. So when you talk about how SPC is different from ISC, actually it is not. They work hand in hand. The ISC is the group of the professionals who work to bring the industry connection and bring the bridge. Whereas SPC is the student body of the student representative, which are the voice of the student. They help ISC in order to gather the feedback or the necessary information that is required from the student side, and also SPC help the students by delivering the message or necessary information that is to be delivered on the student. So ISC is the bridge between industry and the BS degree, whereas SPC is the bridge between the ISC and the students. So it's a very collaborative environment where everybody work together for the betterment of the better industry opportunity for our students.
Okay, so students think they are different, but as you told, they are not. So, if we come back to you, you were a member of SPC earlier, and now you are doing the mentorship at SPC. So, what were your roles back then, and how are they changed now?
Right. So when we were initially we had a 12 members in the council. In among those 12, we five happened to be very active. So those are currently working as a mentor or the advisor for the new SPC. Talking about the past year, so when we were elected, responsibility we received was very starting. That is there was a pilot placement drive was organized by the BS POD. So it was a kind of pilot program to understand what are the needs of the industry and how the students are performing with that particular program. So when we were on board as a council members, our job was to shortlist the resume, to rectify resumes, see whether the resume are proper, and then check all the necessary links, and all these kind of things were the one of the job roles. Also helping the IC in pre-placement talks where company used to come and they used to give up information about their company. So student and coordinating with the student that they ask proper question from the company, necessary questions like what a student should prepare when they are preparing for certain company, what is the job role the company is looking forward, and what are the things that a student look forward in the interview, and how the process will be smooth. So that's what we were into as a part. So our part was uh, smoothing the process of this whole pilot placement drive. So later on, once that was conducted in the last paradox May, after that our objective was to reach out to the industry. So individually, we have an internal team of three department basically: operations, media, and outreach is different. Industry outreach is different, and operations. So within these three department, each department used to work on individually. For example, the media team used to work on the creating necessary posters or informative posters for the session development, and creating necessary newsletter. We also happen to release a newsletter from SPC. We included lots of articles or necessary information about the placement, and all these were released. So media team was working on that. Meanwhile, the outreach team objective was to reach out to the industry professionals via various sources, including LinkedIn or collecting the emails, cold mailing to the companies, and all was a job to connect with the industry. Within the industry, we used to not only reach out for the placement, but also inviting them for the sessions or any workshop, which in any way there's creating opportunity for student to interact with the industry. Meanwhile, we also used to reach out to the within a niche environment of our BS program, because we happen to have a lot of working professionals and entrepreneurs within our program. So we used to reach out to them, and based on them, collecting feedbacks, what are the necessary skills. While the operation team was totally dedicated on working the smooth flowing of the process, that is, scheduling interviews, looking into the website, how to prepare that, and then also, helping student in total process of the industry interviews. So that's how it is. So in this way, the whole year we got engaged with doing a lot of activities. We organized number of resume building session. Those are available on the YouTube. We organize G-Shock workshop also, where we bring collaborated with other houses also. As you know that we have a student council also, which consists of 12 houses. So we collaborated. We used to collaborate with them to in various field, that is technicals, and wherever soft skills are required. So collaborating with the houses in organizing event, and number of things we were doing in all over the here. So by the end of the time, so multiple things were going hand in hand. Certain processes are internal, and certain processes are visible. So there are the cases when students say that we don't see the HPC much, but there are a lot of things which is happening in the back, that is reaching out the industry. Also, since there's a pool of the students who are currently in the BS level, or who have at least completed a diploma. So our in the last part of our responsibility of POR was the organizing these schedules and smoothing the process. So we were quite busy in those activities which required for the internship. But as you said that what how it has changed from previous year to this year. So this year, since the onboarding of the new SPC member, our role is to guide them, help them what we have actually gathered all around a year, and use that knowledge to help our new SPC to make more interactive, more productive placement council, in which right now we are planning a lot of events to be come in this particular term, or maybe the term break, which includes resume building, more resume building session which are ATS proved. So there are nowadays certain new terms are there, how to represent your resume. And SPC is currently working on organizing industry sessions or workshops, which will be very useful for the students in upcoming days. So our job is to guide them, help them, and wherever required to, help them smoothing the process. So it's a good going till now. So we are happy to help them.
So, listening to you, all of this, I think this is a lot of responsibility to handle. So, suppose someone wants to join SPC. So, what are the key values they must have?
So the good thing about SPC is that it is a very constructive environment. That is, everybody is supportive here. So one of the important thing as an SPC one should have is the responsibility or the dedication to serve your student pool. Because as an SPC, all the people who are the part of SPC, they believe in that if we help each and every student in smoothing the whole process, then we will be helping ourselves in creating better relations with the industry, hence creating more opportunity. So all the SPC member have this kind of same objective when they come or think to become a member. Other important skill is that one should have is the good communication skill one should have, because they have to reach out to the industry. And also creative skill, content creative skill should be there among the students. Also management skill is very very important, because there are the times when things get very messy, and you have to organize everything. Because there are times when we have to dedicate ourselves till 4 a.m. in the morning in doing resume shortlisting, and finding the what are the problems and errors in the resume. Also number of interviews are going parallel, so we have to listen to our fellow students that what problem they are facing. So the important key characteristic a SPC member should have is the good listener to understand the problem and then deliver it to the IAC, and how we can create the solution. So problem solving approach should be there among the members. So these are the some important skills SPC members should have, or the candidate should have, who is looking forward to become the part of the placement cell.
And how can they apply to be a part of SPC? Is there any like predefined procedure?
So what is there that the SPC tenure is for the 1 year, and once the tenure ends, there is an election held. So how it is happen is that each year we call out for the nomination among the student pool, which is circulated among all the students. The important thing we usually keep in mind while nominating student is that the student should be at least in a diploma level, because once you are in diploma you know what are the things the our course is offering. So that becomes very easy and understandable for the student when they talk to the industry professionals and explain them what are the advantages of this course. Elections are conducted by the student affair, and once the result is declared, then the onboarding processes is there. So it's a
Okay.
quite easy process, but one should apply, nominate themselves, give a speech, pitch themselves in front of the whole student body why they are very good fit for the SPC, and based on that, the students give votes to their new upcoming SPC, and finally the boarding onboarding is done.
Okay, so now as we know, SPC is doing a lot for the students, but many of them are not even aware are they eligible for the internships or the placements. So how would they know if they are eligible or not, and how can they apply for internship or placement support?
The eligibility is technically done on the POD side. So once a student who has cleared at least one diploma, they are pushed into a batch of the list which is cleared with the IAC. So those students who are eligible automatically receive mail from the ISC that they are eligible, and they receive a pre-registration form with the ISC in which they have to go through the various soft skill training sessions. And once that is completed, they are registered with the ISC. And then onwards, they receive the internship opportunities and placement opportunities. So this is one thing that student need not to be tense with or take it as a problematic, because only thing that they need to do is check mails, and at least one diploma is mandatory. So if still the student is not able to receive, then he or she should definitely reach out to ISC writing mail that I have completed one diploma or two diploma or whatever the current status is in the program, and I haven't received. So what is the process? So they'll definitely receive the reply within 1 or 2 days. Usually receive replies in 1 days.
So that is for the regular degree students, I guess. What about the direct diploma students and their internship and placement support?
So regarding placement support, there's a document placement policy which includes all the information who are eligible and what are the support will be provided to the students from ISC and SPC. So based on that, students can go through that placement document and policy. It includes all the information like who are eligible, what are the eligibility criteria for and opportunities given to the direct diploma. So this is one of the thing we recommend to our student is that directly first go through the policy, that what are the student placement policy, and if they are not able to understand, then they come and feel free to contact us. So provided that, but as per of my knowledge currently, I believe that internship opportunities are provided to the direct diploma. Placement support is not provided to the direct diploma. It is only provided to the regular student who have enrolled themselves from the foundational level and is in the BS level, BSc level, have completed their BSc. So they will be given the placement opportunities.
Okay, so when we talk about internships or placements, we get to hear a lot about the placement points every now and then. So, what are
Hmm.
these placement points and how are they beneficial to the students? And are these in any way mandatory to apply for internships or placements?
Okay, so coming to the student placement point, after the whole idea of getting student placement point was after interacting with the students and the industry professionals. So taking a regular feedback, even with students who are the working professional within the degree, the feedback was taken from them, like how we can improve our students' credibility when they are sitting in the internship and the placement. So after a detailed feedback, we like ISC decided to bring a student placement point document. The objective is to help the student to do regular practice on DSA questions, programming questions, or even the ML part. So this is the only object. There's a misconception among the student that why do we put so much filter for the students to do these kind of things? But it is for their own beneficial. Like what happened is that once we are done with the coursework, we do not tend to do practice regularly. So once the student is eligible, the time of placement comes, we directly go like, oh yes, we will do the revision. But again, at the time of placement, it is a lot to do. So to make a student practice more, to promote, motivate them to more, we have bring the student placement points, which is mandatory for sitting in the placements, not for the internship. There is no mandatory student placement point for the internship or getting internship opportunities. It is only applicable for the placement thing. So, and again, within the student placement point, there are certain minimum points that a student need to gain via various sources that is already mentioned in the student activity points. So why? And these points happen to be 50 points. So this is the minimum. A student can get a lot of points, gather a lot of points by doing competitive programming in various sites like HackerRank, LeetCode, on various language platform, that is C, Java, even Python. So doing data structure question, Linux command or system command questions on these platforms. So overall, these things is to promote or motivate students to regularly do the brushing on their skills and honing their skills regularly so that they are industry ready. So that was the objective. And a lot of question, as you have pointed at, doubt regarding the student placement points, especially those of the certificates, which are mentioned in the student activity. So when we talk about certificates, so these are not mandatory that certificates need to be done. There are certificates which are suggested. A student can gather points through the certificates or doing problem solving questions or projects on the website, which are free. It is not very mandatory that one should do a certificate. Also, the discounts are offered to the student. When this was introduced at that time, we were having Microsoft certification course, which was free for all. So the POD program regularly try to get these kind of offers for a student in which they do not need to pay anything and they can avail the certificate for free. So for that only, the students should keep an eye on the mails because these are the mails that we receive from the support team regularly, and student tends to miss these information. And once the deadline is gone, they ask like, how will can we do? Is it possible to redo this again or not? So if they regularly check the mail, that is very beneficial. And this is something which is minimum. So another problem we have faced when regarding the student activity point is that they tend to expire. The student activity points expire after 1 year. The total tenure for the particular activity point is 1 year. So the student complained that what after 1 year will I not be eligible. So a message from the SPC to the student is that do not wait for your points to get expired. Right? There's no stopping to the student to gain more points. Keep doing extra activities through the links provided on the student activity points. Gain as much point as you can. Do the SQL questions, DSA questions. Do the Kaggle projects on regular intervals, and then keep availing these points so that your student activity points will never expire actually. Because only thing is that you have to gain the 50 minimum points. The more points you gain, the more beneficial it is for the student. And it's not about gaining the activity points, it's more like getting hands on. You will actually see the advantages when you are sitting in the internship, or you are updating your resume. Then you will definitely say that I have a hands on DSA, a good knowledge over Python. I have done a lot of projects like Kaggle projects and other open source projects. I have contributed to some open source repositories. These things are very crucial when resumes are shortlisted. And when you talk about good companies, they look for these kind of things. So the chances of getting shortlisted becomes higher when you are doing these kind of activities. So that was the objective when the student activity points was proposed. So that's it.
Okay, so we have talked about the eligibility, the placement points, and we should move to the most awaited question now. So, what is the scenario of the placements and the internships? What was the highest or the lowest or the average package that was provided to our students lastly? And how can the forthcoming batches expect their packages to be like in the time of this recession when everyone is getting laid off? What is the scenario now?
So talking about the placement, this is the one of the question that we regularly receive on official mail ID from the various students, even on the various social platforms wherever the connections are there. They regularly ask that what is the placement scenario and how the jobs, especially the bank companies or the big companies, are coming or not. These are the questions they put forward, and especially this come from the people who are in the foundation level. So when you talk about the placement, first of all, the first batch, when you talk about placement in any college, so it's usually on the final year of the program, whichever program the person is doing, that is BTech or BE or any other bachelor program in any college. So placement tend to happen in the final year, and in our particular program, the final year students are yet to graduate. So they will be graduating maybe this year. So plans are there to organize placement opportunities, and beside that, drives will be also organized within the campus, and opportunities are being worked. And when we talk about the placement, so there was a placement drive happened last year. It was a pilot placement drive, which is not actual placement drive. It was to understand what are the scenario of the industry and how well prepared are our students, right? So because the number of students were eligible at that time were very less, so that is not the accurate data we should use to measure the capability of our program or the capability of what is the package a student might get, because what was the scenario in that year is totally different what is the present scenario. Currently a lot of opportunities are coming for the internship for our students. As you can see on the various social sites, we tend to keep regularly updating the student who have received internship. So, and if you talk about the internship stipend they are getting, so it is somewhere ranging from 20, starting from 20,000 to going to 50,000 or plus. So, which is very, very good when you talk in terms of internships. And on an averaging, you can say to 25 to 30,000 is the stipend that the student is getting, the gaining when they are doing the internship. For the placement, if you talk about the last year thing, so the range was somewhere between 6.57 to 12 somewhere. So due to the policies, we cannot actually reveal that what is the exactly package received by a student in a particular company. But yeah, the range, if you ask, is somewhere between based on the past year, and current year we are looking forward to increase. So that's what our objective is. So it should go upward. So if you talk about past year, the bandwidth was between 6.5 to 12, but right now we are aiming for higher. We should be able to right now go to the plus 15. So that's what I am looking forward, because as a student, I am also in the final year of my is this program. So myself, there are high expectation that I should also go for the higher packages. So let's hope that we get our expectations. So because whatever is being offered and the knowledge being imparted in the degree level is somewhat very useful, because that is what the current industry demands. Currently, if you see, like a lot of opportunities are coming in the field of AI, ML, and LLMs. All these are very requiring nowadays. So opportunities getting from these skills are very, very good yielding. So, and the courses which are now offered in our degree program is LLM, deep learning, uh, reinforcement learning, computer vision. These are surely gonna help. Only thing is that if a student is looking forward to get high packages, is to do the project as much as project they can do to showcase on their resume. It is more and more beneficial. So it is directly linked to the number of projects you do, number of internships you do all along your academic duration. So that is how the packages are decided. So looking forward to better packages this year. So placement is yet to happen, but internship is going great.
Okay, so can you share like more insights and the data of how many students that actually applied for the internship or placement support, and how many actually got placed or got the internships?
So the official data is yet to be released from the ISC and the SPC. So, but we are expecting somewhere more like 100. I'm not very sure. Actual data is yet to be released. So I would say that wait for the official data which is being released. But yes, the number of uh, from the past 1 2 terms, lot of internship opportunities are being offered to our students regularly back to back. So there are times when we have three interview scheduled for our students in a week. So based on that, you can itself guess that opportunities are coming. So now it's up to our students how they can grab these opportunities. So yeah, that's what the current scenario is. So It's a more in a positive way.
So when like these number of students are getting interviewed and the pilot placement drive you talked about, so there must be some feedback the recruiters would have given you. And can you share that feedback with us? And in context to that feedback, can you tell the students how can they improve their chances of getting placed?
Hmm, sure. So talking about the outcomes we observed from the past pilot placement drive. Uh, and current thing is that the industrial professional have pointed out the hands-on practice they require. What our course offer is very good. They have outrightly said it is very, very on path with respect to uh, the industry expectation. But again, hands-on practice is something very, very important. That is to be done on the students' behalf. So if you talk about the courses like DBMS, very, very good course, very, very well taught. A lot of concept has been dealt inside that course, which is very in line with the industry. If somebody, has a good understanding of DBMS, what is taught in our course, he or she will be definitely very good in the database and is very, very sufficient for the industry levels. So the message we want to give to the student is that keep practicing, on the project, keep working on the project, keep practicing on the codes, and keep working on, smoothing your skills. The more, the better skills you will have, more ready you are to the any internship opportunity. So if you talk about the knowledge, we have a lot of good knowledge, which is very important. And now what we have received is that a lack of projects, extra projects, which students should be doing on their behalf is the important thing they have pointed out. So I would give a message to our student communities, keep on working more, projects they can do via open sources like Kaggle and there are number of hackathon happening around the India in various colleges or by various firms. Keep participating in those. Doing these things automatically improve your problem solving up skills, which is very important that these industry people look. So if you participate in this, these are the great reflectors that how much engaging you are and you are learning, good at learning new things. So that's what the industry look forward from our students, that how well they are, merged inside or very good understanding they have over the concept of the subjects or the field or role they are applying for. So more the hands-on projects, more is good. For example, if you talk about the DL, recently we have been receiving a lot of opportunities in the field of AIML. So more, students should be having a knowledge of good hands-on on Python libraries which are available. Libraries, there are a lot of new libraries which are being updated now and then. The students should have a knowledge of those good data visualization skills and beside that knowledge of LLM. Nowadays the LLM is on high, so the lot of requirements is coming on the LLM side. So hands-on project or a project to showcase on these kind of uh, you know libraries is very, very important. So that's what the recruiters are looking forward from our students. Also some good hands-on on ability to manage database and Python knowledge. So these things are very much asked from the industry side. So that's the message I would like to give to our students. Keep working, keep practicing. Do not be very dependent on the whatever is taught in the course. That is enough. You need to work more on yourself. There are more chances for getting better opportunities.
So, adding to your answer, like getting the hands on experience and doing things apart from the degree course, over the past few years, these virtual internships are on a boom. Like the big industries, KPMG and BCG, all of these, they offer these virtual internships. So, do you think these virtual internships are like beneficial to the students, and will they add that lack of hands-on experience to them?
I believe, first of all, when we talk about this remote internships and in person, though in-person internships have their own advantage, they give you a proper taste how corporate life works. When you talk to your new colleagues. But again, it is up to the students' preference. So talking in terms of experience, I don't think that there would be much difference because the amount of work you need to do in the remote internship is quite on par with the amount of work you do in person. So it's up to the student preferences, what they prefer. And if somebody asks me, I'm personally a person who loves doing in-person job. So in my views, in person, I believe is much better in my particular views. But it is up to the candidate's perspective what they would prefer, a remote or in person. So the remote job scenario is new when after the post COVID. So this is now more opportunities are into hybrid. Now, right now, I see a lot of opportunities which are in the hybrid mode. That is 3 days in person, 3 days remote. So the companies are shifting, and then again, depending on your dream company and what are your preferences, that is up to the candidate what they would like to prefer.
So coming back to the recruiter's feedback thing. So according
Okay.
to the recruiters, what is in more demand? The soft skills, communication and the presentation part, or the hard skills, the technical parts and the coding skills?
So if you ask me regarding this particular, so I think both are equally important because if a person who is very good at hard skill and have a good knowledge but not very good at soft skill is equally likely to the person who is very good at soft skill but not good at hard skill because you are working in a community. So soft skills are very important when you're interacting with colleagues and your other people, co-workers. So these are very important. They see that whether the mindset of a candidate matches to the company profile. Because a person who is not very good at the hard skill but has a good soft skill is also very much preferred over the person who is having very good hard skill but not a soft skill. So a message from we got from the recruiter, and then a message we would give to our student is to work on the both. Both are equally important, right? So if a person should have hard skill knowledge and the soft skill knowledge equally likely.
So Utkarsh, one of the last questions I'll ask you is, how should a good resume look like? And is there any particular format that the students must follow, or SPC that something suggests?
So when you talk about a good resume, eh, the one of the important thing is being prescribed to the students is try to keep their CGPA good. One of the important thing because whenever shortlisting happen, these are the something number one thing they do when filtering. So the better CGPA is better uh, chances of getting shortlisted. Beside the amount of projects you do is also very important, or the experience you gain via internships. So because on an end, a company wants to know that whether the candidates are able to handle the real life projects because what we learn is something based on the toy data set or the dummy problem statements. But when we talk about an industrial platform, they are something working on the real life problem or the real industrial problem, and the amount of data set they will be working is large. If you talk about developing a website, so the features you wanna introduce are much more large as what we have learned or done. So that's the objective that what the companies look forward. So the more number of projects you have, the more number of experiences you gain is the key to go in your resume, and they should have on the resume. Beside, if a student is able to showcase their soft skill on their resume, it's also very, very good something to have via, holding some POR positions or, participating in events. Because these things shows that a candidate is much more interactive, a good person who can learn anything, can adapt themselves to any environment, and is very curious. So this is what the recruiters look forward when they are hiring. So yes, this is something. If you talk about a good resume, we can do this in our key pointers like good CGPA, more number of projects, more if or the working experience you can get. Try to participate in the competitions and events, showcase your soft skill, and hold some POR responsibility. These things are good to have in their resume.
So we have talked about data science a lot today. Can you like share more insights on the AI part? Like Dev AI is in boom right now. And should the students follow old path that was taught to them, or should they do something new and innovative?
Since the IT industry is something which is changing rapidly, right? So sticking to old part is something I wouldn't recommend. Is I would recommend all the student is to keep updated yourself with the new tools that are coming. So if you ask me, I would say that AI, or recently we have heard about Dave AI. So it's just a tool which we can use to ease our working. But again, to use Dave AI or to its maximum potential, one should have a good concepts over the data structure or the programming concept, like what we want to showcase. So I would say that currently a student should definitely work on all the parts, that is a mixture of old ways and the new ways. That is what I would suggest. I would suggest that students should work on their data structures, because data structure is very important. Everything is very foundational to these things. So even the today's model which are coming, they work on the very data structure, what were the part of the programming language. So keep gaining to understand how database working, right? So if somebody says that right now I can write a code, ask a GPT to write a code for that. But again, to deliver what you want to get is based on the knowledge you should have, right? These new AI model don't understand directly from your mind. You should be knowing what you want to get from these tools, right? So having the core knowledge about these things is very important, and the fundamentals should be very strong to enable to use these new tools to their maximum. So the recruiters tends to not only judge based on the information about the new things, that is new tools, hands-on new tools, but also their core knowledge on the foundational things. So talking about the latest experience, we had an industry talk with a very one of the MNC which happened to come for what opportunities they can create with our student pool. So on interacting with the chief data analyst of that particular company, I asked them a question like, how important would you say that a person should have a foundational knowledge such as statistics or the probability? Because nowadays we are using LLMs or all these AI tools which are simplifying the things. He said that these things are the tools, and you can only understand the result from them if you have a very strong foundations. So this is something he recommended, that if a student has a strong foundation over the statistics or the core things from which these things are developed, so that is what recruiters are looking. Because to get the maximum output from these platforms or the tools, you should be knowing the knowledge that how these tools work, and how you can give the parameters and use them to the maximum. So that's the message, that again a mixed thing, not leaving behind what old techniques were, but is to update yourself with the new trend is the key thing to be stand out in the selection procedure. That's the message.
So Utkarsh, to just to conclude the podcast, You yourself are a good achiever. You have like so many POR positions in your past, and you are the mentor to SPC, and you are also working as the BDMTA, as you said. So, any concluding words you want to say to the students to improve themselves in general?
So, in general, I would say that to our student is that if you want to stand out, keep updated with the new technologies which are coming, with the news is that are very useful, uh, and how the things are moving. So don't be very dependent on the coursework that is being done. Coursework are good; they are very necessary, but doing extra projects and practicing on the various platform is something very important to have a hands on. So if you are looking forward to gather a good opportunity or your dream company or dream workplace, then you should do something which is not being done by the other candidates around in your surrounding. So make your profile very exciting, very you know important, or something that is standing out. So that will really enhance your chances on being a successful, corporate life or the research you want to go in.
So, very well said, Utkarsh, and thank you so much for your time and your tips and tricks to the students for sharing your journey.
It was very good to talk with you, and it's a very good to help out the students on clearing doubts, because these are the some questions which you have put forward are very important and are regularly in the mind of our juniors which are new to this program. I think this would be really helpful for them in doing this course and the whole process. So yeah, thank you for having me here.
Thank you.